Yeah. I don't think the radio will see it.
Right.
Come on, oh baby, don't you wanna go? Come on, oh baby, don't you wanna go back to that same old place, sweet home, Chicago.
Wherever you are in life, folks, you never forget the neighborhood. This is the show that talks all about real estate. Hear it from the industry professionals. Of course, you're joining host Kevin Callback from Realty Executive Cornerstones to learn what the neighborhood pulse is. Also brought to you through the financial support of our good friends over at Mobile Accounting Inc. For all your tax help, check them out at www.mobile.tax or give them a call at 224-321-6859. Today, building your database. Kevin, welcome in.
Hey, welcome, man. Look at this. It's Friday already, believe it or not.
Yeah, I almost played the old intro.
That's right. We got the new intro. We might change that intro every week. You never know.
Maybe. Have a little fun.
We got things to do with it, right? I tell you. How's your Friday going? Good?
Blessed. A great Friday, of course. Any day I get to hang out with you, Kevin, is a good day.
Amen. Yeah, we are blessed for sure. Glad to be here and glad to be with you. And man, it is Freedom Friday, right?
Freedom Friday, baby.
Every week.
Okay, every week.
Got every day. So
Every
that's kind of
week.
crazy. So today we're talking a little bit about your database. You know, what do you do with it? How do you begin it? How do you work it? How do you create some referrals? How do you create business that continues? So some agents, and many when you're getting started in the industry, it's tough.
Right.
You've got fees. We talked in the green room. New agent has, they got to join the board. They got their monthly fee for that. Any fees towards their franchise, office fees, desk fees, phones.
Costs a little bit to
cards.
get the license.
Yeah, it costs to get the license. It takes the time to do it. And you may get, even if you sold a house today, you don't get paid for 60 days, which all agents pretty much understand how expensive it is to get it, keep it, and you got to hustle out there to get it going. So some people pay for leads, and then you can pay for the front end or you can pay on the back end. There's different things. But your real goal is to get leads free. And then there's the best way to do those is through your CRM, right?
Yeah. So why is it that a lot of people are very attracted to the real estate industry?
Yes, absolutely.
But they hear sales. I sell real estate, right?
Right.
But they don't really look at it like a business. Why?
For many years, I think there's that misperception is the good agents make it look easy, right?
Always.
So you go out there and they're like, oh, and then we got this, and you're like, oh, this is great. We're having a good time. We bought a house. And, wow, that was a great experience. The realtor made a bunch of money, and everybody's happy, right? And so when you look at it in all reality, there's a lot that goes into that. So when they say, you know what, I'm gonna, I had a baby, or I'm gonna, go to get a part-time job when I'm doing real estate, you're gonna do something like that. It's kind of crazy because they think that they're going to be able to make their own schedule and they're going to be able to make a lot of money right away. And it looks so easy, and they have to put a lot of work into it, a lot of work. Yeah. It's a relationship business. So people that have a lot of good relationships, in high school, the most popular girl or whatever the terms were, those people probably be good in real estate as they know a lot of people, but do they have the business sense? And that's the other thing is you have to have a family or a friendly, but you also have to have business sense,
right?
Because you are running your own business. Now you'll have people coaching you along the way and mentoring you, depending on how you set your business up.
Hopefully.
And hopefully you set up a business plan from day one. We were just talking about that in the
Yeah.
green room as well, to make sure that you're a success and that you can carry that success into the future. You want to create systems that you can duplicate that will consistently produce business and relationships. So what does that look like? There's quite a bit. I mean, we met at the Chamber. I think is the first time we met. Chamber CR group, MC group,
Yeah, MC group.
Connection
Jeez,
group, right?
has to be 10, 12 years ago now.
It's been a minute, right? Feeling old today, feeling
Yeah.
old. But yeah, I mean, so relationships and making those and keeping them, etc.
I had the opportunity to go down to the Chicago Sky basketball game, the WNBA Chicago Sky, and the interesting thing is, I took my 7th grade basketball team, their girls basketball team that I coach, Kevin, and all the girls, all these 7th grade girls, looked at this game from a different lens now that they're playing the game, and they're like, they make it look so easy, and I'm like, thousands and thousands and thousands of hours. These are women, first of all, right? They're in their 20s, some are in their 30s, and I go, thousands of jump shots just this week.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what a professional is, right? So it's that old saying, 10,000 hours and you become a master at your trade. People like you who've been in this industry for over 20 years make it look easy to the new people.
Right. And that's, yes.
But what they didn't see is that you didn't have a tractor to plow the fields to plant the seeds. You had a hoe. Hope and a lot of energy. Right.
Energy and a lot of direction.
And a bag of seed. Right.
Absolutely.
And so I love your topic here, especially for new agents, and by new agents, I'm going to say probably in their first 3 to 5 years, because it's been such a weird market,
right?
Over the last 3 to 5 years. So I love what you're talking about here, and it really holds true to any sales profession.
Absolutely,
not just real estate.
Absolutely, no matter what you're doing, if you're into sales and relationships and such, as a database is so important. And it's amazing how many agents don't have a database that they're storing their information and that they can continue to keep in touch with those folks. And it's easy to let those people get past you when we're in a market like we are, as we're wrapping that up maybe, or it's just a little bit shifting, because so much business was coming in, as you went from one to the next to the next to the next, and maybe you're not keeping in touch, right?
Yeah.
And if you don't be ashamed, don't be like, I blew it, because you didn't blow it, right? You still have that opportunity, you still have those contracts, you still have contact information.
Yeah.
Go in there, put them in your database, and you're going to send them a letter. And if you need a copy of a letter that we have, I would be more than happy to share it. And it basically says, hey, I sucked at keeping in touch with you and following up with you after the sale to see how things are going, how you're doing, how your kids are doing, how your pets are doing, et cetera, et cetera. But we would like to make that up. And in doing so, we'd like to offer you a new market proposal on your home to show you where it's at today from when you bought it. Maybe you need a little equity out of it. Maybe you're thinking about selling and you're like, oh, maybe it's too soon. I don't have enough equity. Those are things to look at. And it's fun to hang out with your friends, people that you've served before. You have some relationships there. You did a good job for them. They're happy in their new home. Life happens, and maybe they're in a position where they need help again, and you'd love to be that guy or gal, person.
Yeah.
People.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I love where you're going. Yeah.
Absolutely. So keep in touch with those folks. And like I said, if you've made that mistake not to be in touch with those folks, it's not too late. They're going to love to hear from you. It's great conversations. I talked to Jeremy, I'll just say Vitito, yesterday actually. And it was he bought his house 2 years ago, and we had text a couple times, and I found out that he's got another baby. I'm like, ooh, a baby. I says, has it been that long since we talked? He says, it has. I said, wow, that's crazy. So he had a baby and stuff like that. So pick up phone call and such. and reach out to those people. We had a good 45-minute conversation. We laughed, we reminisced, and all that stuff.
And that's
So
something, yeah.
that is something. So it's important that you do that and talk to folks and find out where they're at. And maybe they're upset with you. Maybe they are mad. They're like, yeah, you know what? You sold his house and you dumped us. Apologize and move forward. They're going to forgive you.
Alice and I just bought a new car a couple weeks ago, right?
Nice.
At Mother's Day, as a matter of fact, right? It was her present.
Nice.
And we went over to a local dealer here in town that we've bought 3 or 4 other vehicles from.
Mhm.
We said, hey, are you working with anybody? Well, we work with, Rich. Well, Rich is kind of semi-retired. He's down in Florida now.
Right. That's right.
Oh, okay, then whoever, right?
Right.
And the interesting thing, by the time we, it took us a week or so to decide on which vehicle. And by the time we were closing this thing down, signing papers, Rich was back. Kent, right? Now, this guy has sent us over the last 18 years, so maybe 22 years, a birthday card on on Alice's or my birthday, an anniversary card on our anniversary.
Yep.
And then just periodically some industry type information.
Right. Absolutely.
But he's our first stop when we think of a car.
That's right. Absolutely. You're back at the same dealership.
Yeah.
Looking for a vehicle and looking for that same friendly face and somebody that like and trust.
Yeah.
It's amazing, isn't it? It's so, yeah, your database is so very important and you got to work it. Some people are afraid to pick up the phone. There's that fear of prospecting and you just got to get over it. It's one of those things that the worst thing that's going to happen is they don't want to talk to you. Right.
Don't have time.
So it's a little deflating if they don't. But if you call, leave a message, let them know that you're thinking about them, and that's going to be fantastic. And people say, well, what do I say? What do I say when I call them? While you're building your database, you want to put in the birthdays, the anniversaries, the date they bought their home, so you can touch base on those. But not only do you want to put, my buyer 1 and buyer 2 in there, their kids, know what grades they're in, what schools they go to, when do they graduate, are they going to prom, are they, they got pets, cat, dog, lizard, fish, whatever the case may be. Those are great conversations to have about their kids. People love to talk about their kids. So that's always a good one. They love to talk about their pets. So yeah, there's always family you can talk about.
Yeah.
You should be documenting those things. But market updates, everybody's looking for those, even in your industry. People are probably calling you every day like, what are rates?
Yeah, it's a daily conversation, and it's you always want to answer their questions, but at the same time, I love history, so I try to show history. Right
There you go.
Hey, yes, they've gone up.
Right.
Not a problem. However, they're lower. They're lower than they were in 2002.
That's true. That's absolutely right.
So don't panic because
Right.
we're still good. Panic when we get to 1982 rates.
If you get by double digits, then you start going, hold on a second here. Hold on. Yeah, double digits. Boy, I hope we do not see that. I mean, we might see that in gas prices first.
Right.
Kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And here's another opportunity for you as you're reaching out to clients, and we talked about giving them that market update of where their house sits in the market now and what equity do they have. And if they were to sell it today, what would be in their pocket? But also, does that afford them an opportunity to invest in something else? I mean, real estate's a good investment. Over time, it has shown over and over, years and years, maybe you have to wait a little bit longer than sometimes than others. But if they can use their house to leverage it against another home and buy another second investment property, or rent the one out that they're in, maybe like, man, we got had 2 kids, had a set of twins, and we need a bigger house. What do we do? Maybe you rent that one out, buy a second home and rent that one out. So, and people love talking about investing. They love talking about the opportunities: 2 flats, 3 flats, 4 flats. But that can even be a condo or a townhome. So that's a great thing to talk about. Excuse me, I'm dying here. Right.
He's not literally.
No,
it's
no,
just,
we're not dying. We're not dying.
no need to get excited out
Right,
there.
right, there you go. And then any industry news, there's a lot going on out there. Companies painting pictures of, and if you're an agent, I'm sure you're seeing a lot of them through Inman's and just regular research, is layoffs at banks. They're like, lowest loan applications in 20 years. Refis are dead.
Yeah.
Anybody that was going to refi probably did it when they were 2.5%, 3.5%,
1.75%.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're probably not looking to refi. So they are losing a lot of employees. Don't let that scare you. The market hasn't shifted that far, but it has. Refis have pretty much. Would you say have they dried up by you for sure? Still got some.
If by dried up you mean none, then
yeah.
So honestly, though, like I was saying, there are some people out there. I was one of them, right? The last time that I had refinanced was 2005 at my old house.
Okay.
I was just very comfortable with my payment. I didn't want to start all over. I didn't want to invest $2,000-$3,000 into lowering my rate. It was like, what? We're comfortable with where we're at. So there are people out there who are probably in the sixes and whatnot, and could still benefit from.
Sure.
But they're not just your phone's not ringing nonstop like it was the last, in 2020, 2021.
Right. Yeah.
And that's okay. At the same time, I believe that for salespeople, especially in the real estate and mortgage industry, it created bad habits. 2 years of bad habits.
That's true.
Of not prospecting, of not taking care of my database, of not constantly staying in communication. Because why? Well, we didn't have to get the low hanging fruit. We got the stuff that was just falling into our basket.
Right. That's right. And you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. There was an abundance of business, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there were things falling off the table that you're like, well, dang, all right, well, I'll just work. I got this one. So, so bad habits, you're right. I'm glad you brought that up. So, and some people who have never used a database need to go back through all the business they had and maybe go through some of the scraps that fell off the table you didn't work with and see where they're at. See if they still need help. See if you can care for them properly. Because nobody likes to be left behind, right?
Right.
But,
right.
And if you're at a point where you have to start making those calls and following up with any leads you have and really working them. And the database is the first place you're going to put them.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have a database, there's a number of different out there. There's Salesforce, there's Brivity, there's HubSpot. There's so many different you can choose from. Lion King. Choose one and work with it. You're like, well, what's the best one? I got stuck in this actually. And I started looking for a CRM and I'm like, all right. So I would try one. And I'd be like, I'm going to switch again and try this one. The problem is that if it's too robust and has too many features, sends out auto plans, sends out emails, you can order postcards, all this stuff. If it's overwhelming to the point where you're uncomfortable using it, then pick something that you're going to use. I don't care if you use a spreadsheet, Excel spreadsheet, use Word document, whatever. Keep track of who you're working with and who you know and how you can help them best. Because any database that you're going to use is better than any bad database that you're not going to use.
And you keep in mind that your customers' information is their information. So if you can't just go out and use an unsecured CRM that you get out on the internet for free, because now, that's out there for the world to see.
Yeah, there are privacy practices that you need to follow.
Yeah.
And if you don't, it's going to be painful. If you breach somebody's information.
So, what I like about some of the stuff that you're talking about here with your notes, and I like the Excel spreadsheet. Get an Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah.
That you can create it to put dates of birth. You can, emails, phone numbers, and that's yours. But then it's calendarizing. Okay. What part of the day am I working on my list, and going through and saying, oh, who's
Right. Absolutely.
Whose birthday is it today? Or
Yep.
oh, look, it's the anniversary of when they bought the house.
Absolutely.
You know, you've been there a year. You've been there 3 years. You've been there, whatever.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And if you're if you're using an Excel spreadsheet, that's pretty much where you're going to start anyway, because you're going to upload that information to a CRM.
Yeah.
And it's most likely going to be in an Excel spreadsheet, or you're going to type it directly into the database. I would say put it into an Excel spreadsheet, because then you have it. If you change, go anywhere else different, whatever the case is, you still have that list for yourself.
That's yours.
You'd have them in the CRM as well, but
Right.
Sometimes they're a pain to download, and you don't want to download.
But
them
salespeople
all or
do
whatever.
change shops,
Sure,
and
absolutely.
yeah.
That is your data, and you should be able to take it with you. And you should know what your rights are in your ICA, your independent contractor
Mhm.
agreement. You should know what your rights are to take clients and names and such with you.
Right.
And your information should be your information.
Now with this database that you're collecting data on and making, your goal is to sell them another house.
Your goal is to sell them and everybody they know a house, right? And that's the thing. And so when you got this database, everybody's like, well, what do you do with it now that they're in there?
Yeah.
Close the deal. And we're talking, you follow up for date of births and holidays, anniversaries, pets, kids' birthdays, etc. But at every conversation you have, you want to ask, is there anybody, who do you know? You don't want to say, is there anybody? You say, who do you know that I could help buy or sell a home?
Yeah.
And they'll think, and they most times they'll give you a name of, you know what? I think this guy's looking to buy a house, right? Great. Can I get their name and number? Can you have them call me? It's better if you can get the name and number, because if they say they'll have them call you, you may never get that call. But if you can get
Right.
that information, that'd be fantastic. So always have a call to action. Always ask, who do you know that I could help buy or sell a home? Do you have any plans to buy or sell real estate in the next 12 months? And the reason we ask it that way, we don't say, hey, do you know anybody looking to buy or sell right now? Like, nope, we don't.
Right.
But if you put it in 12-month time frame, then they don't feel pressured. They don't feel like you're going to start marketing to them right now, or you're going to be following up with them. They feel a little more comfortable about saying, okay, we've got some time before all this. And then there's the additional questions you can ask, and you should have scripts in place. If you don't, you can give us a call as well. We have some scripts we'd be more than happy to share with you, just not on this episode.
Yeah. Another thing that I've found, especially on my side of the business, on the mortgage side of business, is not who do you know, but if I'm able to catch you on the phone or bump into you at the grocery store or whatever,
Yeah.
and I try to jog their memories, like, rates are, the market rate, whatever, is crazy, right? Oh my gosh, it is. You talk to anybody about that?
Right.
Oh yeah, you know what? As a matter of fact, my son was right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And boy, do you think you could help out? Well, sure. Have them give me a call.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. And if you're talking to somebody or I'm talking to somebody, and it comes up that they need a lender, what I do is I'll get their name and number, and then I'll do a group text or a group email with me and the person we're referring them to keep that common bond. So I'm still part of it, so they feel comfortable with that portion
Sure.
of it as I'm introducing them to somebody new.
Mhm.
And they appreciate that more, and it's more likely that they're going to work with the person that you're referring if you're in that group conversation type setting, right? It's a right way to do an introduction. Three-way calling are good too.
Now, am I building the database solely on people I've done business with, Kevin?
You're taking friends, family, teachers, pet sitters, people that you work with. You're putting everybody you possibly know, any way, shape, or form, with as much information as you can get. Name,
Okay.
address, telephone number, birthday, email, all the good stuff. Obviously, and over time, your database needs to be purged. Once in a while, you have to kind of go through and say who's not going to work in this list, and we're going to delete some of those.
I was doing that with my cell phone contact list.
Right.
They're dead. They're dead. Whoop. Whoa.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
So you go, oh boy, I guess I haven't talked to those people in a long time.
That's right. Yeah.
It's been a few years.
Absolutely. And at anybody that has a pulse, that you have a relationship or knows you, and keep in touch with them. Send out newsletters, postcards, social media. So you're going to use that database to market the best you can.
Yeah.
Right.
And the old saying is a prophet's not a prophet in their hometown. Right.
Right. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
It doesn't matter how good you are if you don't ask for their business.
Right. Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. We had, it happens. And you talk to somebody and maybe they referred they're living with their mom and their mom's like, oh, I got a gal, she's going to be great. And they buy with mom's friend, you're like,
That's
oh
right.
my goodness.
Are you, what am I? Chopped liver?
Right. Yeah.
We know each other. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. And they're like, she referred me to him. I got away. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
I started looking at houses and there we were. So when you talk to them, definitely make sure you ask every time, hey, thinking of making any moves or something like that. And some people, aren't,
Right.
and that's okay. Then you ask them, do you know anybody that
Right.
is looking to move? And then you want to make sure that when you call folks, you have something to talk about, which we mentioned, but also you want to have some scripts that questions you can ask them or they can, when they ask you, that you can respond appropriately with, is now a good time to buy or sell? Absolutely.
Sure.
Sure it is.
Yes.
If you're looking to buy or sell and you have the ability to do that, I would say do it now. We don't know what the future holds. We sure don't. And then give them the information they're looking for, to make them understand where you're really at. Right.
Mhm.
But have the scripts in place, but definitely ask for them. People that are referring you business out of your database. So you got this database and a majority of your business, your goal, and the reason we talk so much about database is your goal is to get about 90% of your business from your database. You want this repeat business. You want referrals from that database because some of these lead systems out there, I don't know if I can say their names or not, but but some of them are 40% of your commission. They're going to take at the back end when you close a deal.
Yes.
That's a lot of money.
You might be the fifth person that they've talked to this week.
Could be
from that list.
Because or people just click a number of lists.
Correct.
Right. So now you're chasing this. But if you do close it and you give 40% of your commission to that company, well, that doesn't mean you're done paying people. That means now you've got your brokerage fee or
you still got all
whatever
your
the case is. You have the other expenses that you have to deal with, and pay attention to your ICA on that, because your ICA will break down how you get paid and what you pay and the back end of that as well. So if you're winding up with 20% of a commission at the end of the day, wow, that's rough. That's rough, right?
Right.
So this database is going to save you thousands and thousands of dollars. And throughout your career, it could save you hundreds of thousands of dollars. So,
now, 20% of something's a lot better than 0% of nothing.
Absolutely, yeah.
But at the same time, you are just leaving a lot of money on the table.
Yeah. And those leads that you pay for in the back end and stuff, it's basically the same thing as you're calling them and you're following up and you're nurturing them instead of your referrals, which will be at a much greater return. And it continues to build that relationship.
Right. And when you're paying for leads, you're paying to use somebody else's database.
Yeah, pretty much. That's right. That's
now,
exactly it.
So the interesting thing is this is I think one of the exercises that you have in here is go through your social media.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Who do you have in there?
Yeah.
That's a big database.
That is
basically a database
right
there. Right now, yes, some of them may live in different states or whatever that you're not licensed in. Okay,
absolutely,
we get it. But have you mined your own database?
Right.
To
Mine
build
your own
database.
Absolutely. And the social media is great. As you go into Facebook and you go in there, one of the things you should do is time block. You should have a calendar that you look at and that you schedule things in and you live by that calendar.
Yeah.
And as you live by that calendar, you should time block time to interact with your CRM. Right.
So true.
And we get busy and life gets crazy and we forget to do it. But it's important to do. And Facebook, as you're trying to transition your business and you're trying new things, one of the best things you can do on Facebook is go to Messenger and send a message saying, hey, I'm modifying my business. Would you be willing to help me? and then whatever you're doing in your business, say you're thinking, I'm thinking about opening my own office. I'm thinking about hiring an assistant. I'm thinking is they say yes, ask them, say, hey, I'm thinking of hiring an assistant. Do you have any experience with that? I'm thinking of opening an office. What time do you think would be good? Different things that you can do to ask people to get interacted. Because what do people love to do? They love to help.
They love to help.
And they will. And if you are really doing these things, you're going to get some answers that you might be like, I never thought of that. Wow, that's great information, actually. So, and it's going to be payoff for not only for you, but for them, which would be fantastic.
Yeah.
Now you have in your CRM, you're going to have some AAA people in your database. And those are people that are referring you business on a regular basis. And you're going to want to do something special for those folks, whether it's a Christmas present, it's a dinner out, it's recognition at your client events, whatever the case is.
Well, that's what I like that you do. You have an annual or semi-annual event for those people with your clients.
Absolutely. That's it. And that's the AAAs. And then you have all your other clients that you do. Right now we're talking about renting out a movie theater. So we're going to go over there, you have some popcorn and pop and raffle prizes and door prizes, and it's just going to be a blast. It's going to be a hoot.
Yeah, nice.
So we're excited about that. And I couldn't do that if I didn't have my database. Right. So those are fun things you can do. And, market things, do things that are going to fire people up, and if you have an event and nobody shows up, one person, two people, when it's over, and go on Facebook and say, man, we had such a blast. Thank you for everybody for coming out, etc. And then send that blast email out to all the clients, because if they weren't there, they don't know who was there.
That's right.
Right. The only people they know are the people that were there.
That's right.
So it's kind of funny, but typically people will show up for an event. You invite 100, 75 will say they'll come, maybe 40 or 50 to come. Right.
Yeah.
So it's always that way. That's anything though. It's not just your database. That's an ongoing database. So there's a lot you can do. Events are important, but your database is, think about your database and think about how you feel about that database. Just kind of get a feeling of, do you like the people you've worked with in the past? Is that, what is their commonality? Is there a certain group you find yourself working with? Are you typically working with in 55 plus communities and things like that? Because that might be a different mindset.
Do you have a triple F list? These are the difficult clients that you worked with that you're like, hey, I don't ever want to see them again.
That's the purge list, right?
Well, yeah, and you got to kind of weigh that out and set your pride aside as you're doing that too, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
If it was, if it was just a non-favorable experience, doesn't mean that they don't or won't necessarily refer you, but maybe it was a not a real good experience and it was 4 years ago. You've sent some stuff you've never heard from them or anything, then maybe it's time to purge,
right.
But what you think may have been just a horrible experience. I got a friend that they were doing some moving, and they were able to spend some time with another friend, and not quite the same personality. And by the end of the day, one was like, I want to go home and kill myself. And the other one was like, I just made a new best friend. This is awesome.
Fantastic.
And oh God, so inspired. So it may have been, scratching nails down a chalkboard for you, but for them, they may become a AAA for you. And you're just like, wait, I don't.
That's absolutely true. There are a few people that come to mind right away that, during the transaction towards the end, it just got really stressful. They were, things were kind of teeter-tottering. I mean, it's been that kind of market, right? Where
Yes,
things are just been kind of twisting and turning. And we finally get it to closing and such. And you get to closing and you call them a month later, 2 weeks, supposed to come 2 weeks, 2 weeks to 4 weeks later. 2 weeks is what it's supposed to be, 4 weeks at the most. And we gave them a call and it was, oh, thank you so much. You were amazing. We appreciate all your help. I'm so sorry I was such a jerk. I was just so stressed. I was overwhelmed that I had this going on at work and I had this going on and that going on. And sometimes you know those things because you're talking to your clients,
Yeah.
you're coaching them through, and you're supporting them through whatever they're going through. But sometimes you don't know, and they're stressed out. And after the transaction, they love you, and you're like, wow, I did not see that coming.
Yeah.
Because it seemed like it was like, man, they're angry and whatever. But it does come to a point where they could be your AAA, which is
It could
always
be.
nice. Get out your Louisville Slugger, home run, baby.
Yeah.
Right?
As you're working with this database, can a good database create inertia? Hey, the goal is to have 1,000 names on my database. I got 1,001.
Hey, guy, congratulations.
All right, so that goal achieved no longer motivates. But I sit here and go, I'll get to it tomorrow. I'll get to it tomorrow.
Start today, man. Start today.
Yeah.
And pick a CRM you're going to use. Yeah, like we said, if you got to start filling it, keep filling it, and keep following up.
Mhm.
Keep following up. And every time you talk to them, from the first time you meet them till your dying day, you ask for a referral every time you meet them.
Mhm.
Do you know anybody, and such? And you'll build referrals, and they'll know when they pick up the phone you're asking for it.
Yeah.
And they may be ready for you. They'll be like,
Sure.
all right, here you go. We got this going on.
So
That's
one
fantastic.
thing that I've done with my database is I put monopoly money to it, right? So if I add a name to the database, it's $5, right?
There you
Play
go.
money.
Right?
Right.
Yep.
And if I actually talk to somebody on the database, it's $1,000.
There you go.
So what I try to do is just have fun with it, because it can be daunting and it can be very deflating.
Yeah.
You know what, Kevin? I haven't heard from anybody. I've got this database of 60 people. I'm new in the business. I've been doing it for 2 years. I got 60 people. They're getting tired of hearing from me. I know they are.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
I've had to play psychological games with myself to add names, to continue
Sure.
to build.
Yep.
I carry around, you've seen it. I carry around little notebooks. I've got a red notebook for 2020.
Yeah. Right.
I've got a gray notebook for 2021, and another gray notebook for 2022. And I go through constantly to make sure that I have those people updated. And even if they didn't do business with me for whatever reason, until they say unsubscribe or please stop sending, I communicate with
That's
them.
right. Absolutely. And keep communicating, even if a lot of people are reading it, if you
Mhm.
mail them or email,
Yeah.
many times they're reading it, even though they may not reply. So they know you're out there. They know you care.
Yeah.
Which is great. And you should set with your database the 5, 5, and 5. Do you do the 5, 5, and 5? So the 5, 5, 5 is five phone calls a day, 5 handwritten letters a day, and 5 emails a day. So, or
Interesting.
5 social media contacts. So 5, 5, and 5 is you want to do that every day. Handwritten notes, believe it or not, are very powerful. Very powerful.
They
Because
are.
nobody does it anymore, and it's so rare to get one. Now, depending on the age group they're in, you may want to print it and
Right.
not use cursive, because there are some kids out there these days that have never been taught cursive writing, so they're not real familiar with reading it. It's almost like a second language.
So 5 handwritten, 5
5 phone calls,
5 phone calls,
and then 5 social media or emails.
5. Interesting.
So you got to keep reaching. And pop buys are the other thing. As you go through your database, pick days that are maybe a little bit slower. You'll be in the area of a client. Is just pop by and maybe have
Yeah.
a little gift for them, or a little story, or a book, or there's so many little things you can do that really make somebody's day, right?
Yeah.
The springtime is always a great day to bring a little, start a tomato plant starter kit or something like that.
Right.
So a lot of things you do during the summer and such, but also in the winter as Christmas is coming. 4th of July is right around the corner for us here. Well, for everybody.
Yeah, everybody in the United
Yeah,
States.
this time of year in Illinois is the 4th of July. And every time you deliver good news, ask for a referral again. So
Yes.
like, hey, we're getting ready to close. It's so exciting. who else do you know that we can get to this point, and make sure you just keep asking, and they'll come up with it, and it's going to grow your business, and they're going to be excited to do it for you. They're going to be excited to help you. Believe it or not, I used to be a guy that if somebody needed help, I'm there. I love to help people.
Right.
I'm there to serve a church. I was a fireman, a 911 operator, chaplain. I just love serving people, real estate. But getting help, I don't want nobody to help me because I can handle it myself. I'm the helper, not the helpee, right? But let people help you, and they'll bring joy to their hearts, and they'll love doing it. It's true. It's true. So give them that opportunity to feel good inside by giving you a referral.
Yeah.
I think that's the absolute truth.
Yeah, I think that, and it has to be the way that you position. Listen, Kevin, times are tough right now. There's no inventory. My pipeline is dry. You know anybody who needs to buy a house?
Right.
I'll get back with you.
That's right. After they could say, if they ask you if you're taking your medication for the day, they say,
Right.
are you on medication? But absolutely. Be excited. Be excited about the market. Every market is exciting. It's just different, right?
Mhm.
It's like every day is a good day. Just some are better than others.
Right.
This is a great market, or whatever this transition, the shift. If it continues to shift, maybe it stops now. I think values will stay pretty similar.
Sure.
Interest rates, I think, are going to come up a little bit more. I think Feds are going to raise it here in a couple of days. I think always interesting, but
a lot of good stuff. A lot of new building going out. We're starting to see more inventory come on the market.
Yeah.
Hey, it's a great time right now, and boy, I'd sure love to help anybody that you may know,
right,
who needs it.
Let us know. Let us know if you got somebody, and refer people.
Yeah.
Ask people that are moving out of state, help refer them to somebody else. One is you can get the referral fee, but you know that you're connecting with someone solid, because you're going to interview those agents first. You're not going to go, oh, here's Joe Below in Kansas, I'm going to give you to him. Is call them, see where they're at, see where their education is, how long they've been in the business. Interview them for a job.
Yep.
If you're hiring them.
Of course, you're listening to 21.6 The Net. This is the Neighborhood Pulse with Kevin Callback, brought to you through the financial support of our good friends over at Mobile Accounting Inc., www.mobile.tax. Let him come to you. Don't bundle everything up and go to him. Eric Mason will take care of you. 224-321-6859. Personal or business. Does a great job. Actually, he does both of mine. So both business and personal. Great guy.
That's fantastic. He is a good guy. Yep.
So as I'm looking to build my database, which you say is this is the lifeline for your business. What are some things? What are some memory joggers or some things that I should do to try to add? And what if I think of somebody and I don't have all of their information?
So if you don't have all their information, Facebook is a great tool. I use Ben Verified. So it's
Ben Verified.
It's a subscription, but pretty much if you get a seller lead, you only have partial information. You can look it up and get contact numbers and names and who lives there and a lot of different things. It's a paid subscription, and you be careful how you use it. But that's one way to figure it out. Facebook's another. Maybe there's another friend a middle friend that you can contact, an acquaintance that knows that information. You can call them and ask for it. They're helping you again, feeling good about helping you.
Absolutely.
So that's kind of great. And memory joggers to call people
or to add people to you, to build your database.
To build your database is family and friends. You should start there and work your way out. Facebook, social media, holidays should be, your birthday should be a good one. Reply to everything on Facebook. And when you reply to stuff on Facebook, make sure people that are wishing you a happy birthday are in your database, because they took the time, even if it was a click where they didn't click like, they took a second out of their life to click on your birthday. So those are people that know you, right? And so those are good as well. What else you got?
I take a look at who you talked to last week.
Yeah.
Okay. And people are like, what? Well, if you have kids, maybe you talk to their teachers.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Teachers are great influencers. They always have been. But a lot of teachers, number one, like to have investment properties,
Right.
right? To as another stream of income,
Yeah.
and or number two, look, okay, hey, you know what? I've been renting, and now I'm in my third or fourth year of teaching. I'm ready to buy a house.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So who are the people that you've talked to in the last whatever? A lot of people who are overlooked on people's databases are your next door neighbors.
Right.
I got it. They know what I do.
That's right.
Hey, Kevin, they got, yeah.
They
I told
sure
them
do.
where I worked.
Amen.
They see that it says realty executive right on the car. They're
Yeah,
fine.
That's right.
They know what if they need a house. They know what I do.
Yep. This is true.
Not really.
Right.
They'll be like, it's good old Kevin over there.
Yep. And and with neighbors, they see your car not home a lot.
Yeah.
They think, well, he's busy. I don't want to bother him.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's somebody like, yeah, I know you're busy, but we're thinking of selling. I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
we're not that busy, and just because I'm not home doesn't mean I'm working.
Yeah.
It just means I'm not home. But,
Yeah. There was an interesting book that I read. The Never-Ending Referral Source,
yes,
by the same gentleman who wrote The
John,
Go-Giver, Berg, Bob
yep,
Berg,
yep, Bob Berg, yep.
And he says that every person that you meet has a web of 250 people.
Yeah, it's true.
Now, the idea is when I meet Kevin Callback, I'm not trying to get Kevin Callback's business. I always take it,
Right.
but I want to know which one of his, or which 2 or 10 of his 250 people he knows,
Right,
is looking for a house.
that's it. That's the same theory of LinkedIn, right?
Yes.
LinkedIn is you link with people and they show how many people are you out in
Yes.
that relationship, right?
Yes.
And that's pretty cool too.
So I think a lot of times as we're building the database in a sales profession, especially in the real estate profession for new agents, you are trying to build a database of people you think you can sell.
Sure.
And the answer is no. You're looking to build a database of people that you know.
Right. Absolutely.
Who can help you.
Right. That can help you. That's exactly right.
Right.
Yeah. You are trying to grow. And like I said, people love to help. So family, friends.
And so I think as you're looking at the database, as it's your lifeline, look at it from a standpoint of 2 to 3 levels removed. Hey, I got Kevin Callback, but boy, Kevin's hooked up at his church. Boy, his 250 people go well.
Yeah.
Right. And if I don't stay in front of Kevin, I miss out on his 250 people.
Right. Absolutely.
And when that happens, I want to make sure that Kevin goes, oh, you know what, I got a guy, Kevin helped me sell my house. Man, I want to, let's talk with him.
Yep.
I highly recommend. You know what? He's just going to shoot you straight. He's a great guy.
Yep.
He knows his business inside out, upside down, and backwards. And if he can't get it done, he's gonna point you to somebody who can.
That's it. And the other thing is when you talk to them, is they hear their ears perk up when somebody says, "Yeah, I'm thinking of selling my house." All of a sudden they go, "Hey, I can add to that conversation, right?"
Yes.
Hey, I got a guy for you.
Yeah.
If you don't call them, I've had people
Excuse
where their relatives, brother or sister, bought a house.
Yeah.
And you're like, dude, he's like, you know what? I don't know what I was thinking. I knew she was buying a house. He says, I just didn't think of, recommending you. She's over here. And so, yeah, that's my area. I definitely work there. You're like, sorry, but you want to be that top of mind guy.
Right.
So, and you're not going to be, or gal. Person.
And it happens. Now, let me ask you, do you get upset at that person, or do you get upset at you for like, dang it, I missed an opportunity?
That's me for sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not their job to grow your business.
Correct.
Right.
And I sit there, and in my heart of hearts, and in my good Christian heart, I want to say, well, there's enough business for everybody.
And there is.
But I kick myself. Like,
right.
That was my business.
That's right. But I want a majority of it, even though there's enough to go around. I want my share, right?
And when I was new in the business, and first of all, I didn't believe, hey, I'm just gonna be out there hustle. I'll go to chamber events. I'll be out there. People will know what I do,
and they do,
right?
But
Good
if
for you.
That's right. That's right.
Right.
Yeah, he's a lender. That's right.
And until I realized the power of the database, and that if I get a customer who comes back and purchases their second house or whatever, because
Right.
I worked with them 5 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever, that's a blessing.
There you go.
That's a
right.
blessing, right?
Amen.
Like, oh, however, it's amazing how many people, and you've been doing this for 20 plus years, that go, yeah, you know what? You sold a house to my neighbor 15 years ago. They just spoke highly of you. That's why I'm giving you a call.
That's exactly right. And that's what you want. There's no higher compliment than a referral, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, gotta ask. The power of the ask
That's
is huge.
It's huge.
Is we're in this market and we're shifting it, and our goal is to help people grow their business, right? We want them to be successful. We want them to be a blessing to others. The only reason you're going to get out of real estate if the market shifts here is because you don't have a database and you aren't calling people and you aren't knocking doors or whatever the case it takes to get the job done.
Yeah.
The business is out there. People will buy and sell all year round in every market. Doesn't matter. It just, you got to work a lot more hard.
It's the beautiful thing about real
Change that.
estate is there's people buying and moving and selling, and it's amazing.
Yep.
Do you have your database? You talked about your AAA, your big, your golden children, as I would call it, right? Do you separate your database into different categories? Is there one like, well, these are the professional people I know, so it's going to be a different email because they're professionals. These are past clients. These are clients that I didn't do business with. Do you do any of that, or is it just?
I don't separate mine out. So I do separate out the AAAs just because I want to make sure that we recognize them. Because they are keeping you top of mind on a regular basis, and that needs that extra touch. You owe them that, in my opinion. I think I owe them that extra special attention of saying thanks. I appreciate it. Maybe a little gift card or something at some point. The rest of people are just people that we like and we worked with, and we'd like to work with again and get to know more and break into their web. That's 250.
Two things, two other points that I separate mine.
Do you?
Yeah, because a part of my database as a lender, of course, is realtors.
Sure.
Right. They would be considered what you would probably say AAA, right? So I have a professional one where I send different content to,
right?
Then and I call that my 5 by 10. I want to touch 5 of the people in this segment by 10 a.m.
There you go.
Whether it's a phone call, an email, whatever, coffee, whatever. And then I have past clients and I have non-clients.
Okay.
Again, the idea is I may separate how I focus and market to them. I learned something, and this is just kind of a cool idea. You got to have a good sized database to do this, otherwise it's crazy. Is when you're in there, and if God places somebody in your head,
right?
Just out of the blue, and we've all had that. Like,
man,
I sold the Smiths, a house 6 years ago, and for whatever reason, they just popped up into my head. You should take that time to send them like a Starbucks gift card,
right? Absolutely,
and send a handwritten. This an excellent salesperson told me this, and that's what she does. She goes, "I'll just if somebody pops into my mind, I always wonder why, and if I have their contact information." I send them a Starbucks card and say, hey, I think you're awesome. You'd crossed my mind today. Go enjoy a cup of coffee.
There you go. I love it.
Right?
Yep. Absolutely.
And she goes, I will tell you that 90% of the people I do that to either text me or call me and go, I needed that cup of coffee today.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
And she goes, you can't believe the referrals that I've picked up from sending a $5 Starbucks card.
Yeah, that's lottery tickets are another big one, right? But that is absolutely right.
And I go, that's brilliant, and I've never used it. It's true, right? And until it's brilliant, I go, I'm going to use that. I never wrote it down, and I've never done it until we've just talking about the database and looking at your notes, and then finally I'm like, oh yeah,
right.
And I'm like, but she goes, you'd be surprised. Probably 90% of the people pick the phone up and call me.
That's something, huh?
And say thanks.
That's crazy.
And now I've got them. Now it's a voice to voice.
That's crazy. So I guess, and I guess I lied because my database, we tag everybody and you can search people by tag. Were they a buyer? Were they a seller? Are they? So I guess we do have different stuff for different people.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah, I mean, but and again, your business again is you probably have it again professional. Like, hey, here, these people are professional referrers, and
that's who should be in your databases. You should be asking your industry professionals, your lenders, your attorneys, your home inspectors. You should be asking them for referrals. You should be saying, hey, who do you know? Who do you know? I've had some realtors call me recently and say, hey, what can we do for you? We'd like to work together. I said, great. Got any buyers or sellers for me? Because I love one now, right? But I always do. And we're all in the same business, all living life, trying to make mama happy, right?
Well, and we want to be successful at what we do.
Sure.
And there's a reason that we got into the businesses that we've got into. And it's because we enjoy helping people achieve a dream.
Right. Next time we're here, it'll be fantastic. We're gonna have Rick Angel here. He'll be amazing. He's a Ramsey trusted realtor as well, so that's fantastic. We're gonna kind of go over of some activities you can do to use your database to be successful in getting appointments and such. And it's a 30-point basis, and if you can score 30 points a day, you're gonna get some leads. It's just in the numbers. It will happen. Trust us on that. Next week, I'm excited to talk about it, and that will be the menu for success.
The menu for success.
That'll be it. It's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, and Rick is where? He's from?
I think he's Carolinas. Yeah,
Carolinas.
Yeah. So he's a great guy, very organized. He does the 5, 5, and 5 religiously, and his business is booming, and people adore him, and he gets a lot of referral business. You got to build your business on referrals, folks, because if you're buying it leads, you're throwing money right in the toilet. Clink, flush. But the only goal I would say to that would be, if you're paying for leads, is when you're done, when you close that deal, is they're going to refer you business in the future,
right?
And we've had a number of times where we've paid for leads, and the guy down the block says, "Hey, I'm selling my house. I'd like to use you." So it pays off in the long run if you're paying for leads, but try to get off of that as quickly as possible because it's expensive. And getting 100% of your commission is a lot better than getting 60% of your commission. Right. That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
I am blessed to be here today, brother. Thanks for being here. It is Freedom Friday. I'm excited for the weekend, and I'm excited for next week when we see Rick Angel and talk about the menu for success.
Rick Angel. Sounds like a magician.
Yeah, maybe he might throw some tricks around. I'll ask him.
That's it. Of course, you are listening to 21.6 The Net. This is the Neighborhood Pulse with Kevin Kolbach from Realty Executive Cornerstones. He's here to, again, pass on knowledge to help everybody in the real estate community get better and sell and become more prosperous. You don't find a lot of guys doing what he's doing. A lot of people try to keep everything close to the vest and say, oh, I don't want you to steal all my tricks. Well, Kevin's like, let me reveal the tricks. And if you follow with some of these, you're going to be successful.
This is true.
And of course, we appreciate Eric Mason over at Mobile Accounting Inc. For the financial support. www.mobile.tax 224-321-6859. Come back in about an hour for In the Know with Steph and Joe. No Steph, only Joe.
Ooh,
and today we've got entrepreneur Chuck Weiland, Violand, Weiland, who wrote the book, The Entrepreneurial Conspiracy.
Ooh.
Going to be a great show. Don't miss it. Again, at 3:00 Central. In the know, Steph and Joe. 4, Kevin Callback, Realty Executive Cornerstones, and us here at 21.6 The Net. Thank you so much for getting caught in the net with us. Let's play out the music, Sammy. And everybody have a great weekend.